What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primarily to deliver you something that is probably going to cause us to be spread out a little bit too thin. Just a tiny bit, just a little tiny baby bit, maybe, kind of. Yeah, it's going to spread us out a little too thin. This is our draft recap for the UPL, a new league that we are joining. Somebody actually had commented on one of, I believe it was Shady Penguin's videos about a draft league that they were starting up. That, hey, they were like, hey, let me know if you're interested. Drop your Skype name or whatever, or add me on Skype, and I'll get you added into the league. And I was like, why not? Might as well. I do it to play Pokemon, and we're gonna play more Pokemon. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm just trying to make sure that the mic is actually being picked up because the mic looks a little low and I'm not really happy about that. So hopefully this turns out decent. I mean, I do have to be a little bit quieter because it is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. But I wanted to get this done because I did just do my draft yesterday. Spoiler, I did miss the actual draft, so I had to pretty much pick from leftover. So my draft it's not the best. It's not the best by any means. But we're gonna make it work. I mean, we're gonna patch a few things up in free agency throughout the season, but overall, we're gonna try our best to make things work. We're gonna try our best to make this ragtag squad of misfit toys work. Now, so the way I ended up having to go about my draft is, first of all, I had to eliminate all the things that I originally would have wanted. I actually was considering getting Mega Gardevoir for this league, but that was already gone, obviously, so I couldn't. So I left my Mega decision entirely up to somebody else. My girlfriend right now. I let her basically just sit down and look at the Megas that were available and the ones that were already taken, and I told her to pick three. So she decided between Mega Swampert, Mega Banette, and Mega Diancie, and I would pick from there. So I actually decided to go with Mega Diancie because overall, in my opinion, Mega Diancie provides me a lot more options. It can be either physical or special, with its insane base 160 attack and special attack stats. It also has base 110 defense and special defense, which will allow it to take some decent hits, and a base 110 speed stat, which will allow it to pretty much outspeed a lot of things. It breaks that base 100 speed barrier, which is really, really important, and will go a long way in allowing Diancie to flourish on the team. Another big reason I wanted this thing was because of Magic Bounce. It really deters my opponents from wanting to try to set up rocks against us, which is really, really cool. I mean, we don't have... I think we only have, like, 4 mons on our team that take 25% from rocks, but we have nothing that takes 50s, which is good. But and rocks doesn't hurt our team too terribly, and we have a decent amount of ways of getting rid of it, but I'd still rather avoid having to use those ways if I have to. But overall, Diancie provides a lot of options to us. It hits really, really hard. It's got some really, really insane moves in its move pool. Just to kind of give an example, we have Diamond Storm, which is insanely powerful and has a good chance of raising our defense stat, which is pretty legit. It's pretty legit. It gets access to Earth Power, Moonblast, Psyshock, and Psychic for coverage purposes. See, Smogon's official website doesn't say that Diancie gets Psyshock, but it does get Psyshock, so I don't know why it does that, but it does get Psyshock. It can also set up with things like Rock Polish or Calm Mind. It can set up screens. Do a lot of things, and it can actually set up rocks on its own, which is really cool. So it's definitely an option that we have with Diancie. Overall, Mega Diancie provides a lot of interesting things that we can do, and I'm really kind of excited to see what kind of crazy things I can come up with this thing, because I don't know, I never really get a chance to use Mega Diancie because I don't play standard OU all that much. I've only been playing in the league format, to be honest, for the past several months, actually past year at least. Hold on, give me a sec. Sorry about that. But yeah, this thing's gonna be really, really cool. As for a nickname, this actually was something that I decided to do, not so much for my girlfriend, but for the one YouTuber she kind of got me introduced to. His name is Joey Chrysefa, and he's very, very into crystals and stuff. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, but he does vlogs and shit. Definitely check him out if you haven't already. He's a cool guy, really, really cool guy. But yeah. So I'm deciding that I'm just gonna call this thing Chrysefa because it just seems to fit. It seems to fit based upon his love of gemstones. And yeah, so that's gonna be really cool. So when it came to deciding the rest of my team, it was really kind of tough. They have the same kind of tiering system as the GBA and stuff. So I needed one tier 1 Pokemon, a tier 2, two tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5, and then I had 4 free picks with 400 points. Now picking Mega Diancie, first of all, allowed me to have 40 extra points because it's tier 2 Mega. So that was kind of helpful, so I can have 440 points. So basically, I could pick 2 tier 5s and 2 tier 1s for my free picks, which is really, really good. Because the more tier 1s, the better, in my opinion, you know. But, I really... my focus initially was to get my tier 1 pick, and I wanted a tier 1 Mon that actually... that honestly, truthfully, complemented Mega Diancie extremely well. I needed something that resisted a good portion of what it's weak to. You know, I wanted an immunity. I did want an immunity to ground. An immunity to ground would have been great, and I also wanted something that could take those 4 times weak steel hits. I needed something that could take grass hits. I needed something that could take water hits. I just needed something that could take some of the hits for Mega Diancie, who doesn't want to take them as well as other things. And I was scrolling through what was left in tier 1, and a real honest to goodness gem appeared before me, and that was Skarmory. Now, first of all, before anyone says anything, no, I'm not a huge fan of Skarmory. I don't typically use Skarmory. I've never used Skarmory, actually, in the league format, ever. But I wanted, with this draft, kind of pick things that I haven't normally used, so that I can broaden my horizons a bit, because that'll make me better for other leagues in the future. And, I mean, if I don't take this league that seriously, I mean, what's the big deal, you know? But, so I scooped up Skarmory as my tier 1 pick. And, yeah, it really, really complements Mega Diancie well. It resists everything that Mega Diancie's weak to, besides water type attacks, but we'll take care of that later on in the team. But yeah, it definitely provides me a very, very good defensive option with the base 140 defense stats. Really, really, really good. Can eat a lot of hits defensively. It also gets access to the sturdy ability, which is really, really nice, so no one's going to be able to knock us out in a single hit. This thing also gets access to some very hard-hitting moves, such as Brave Bird, Iron Head, Night Slash, Rock Slide, stuff like that. This thing is also a very, very good hazard setter and remover. Very good support mon as well. It gets access to Whirlwind for phasing things out. It's access to Toxic for stalling purposes. Taunt for taunting things. It gets access to Tailwind. It can be a Swords Dance sweeper, which is really cool. But Tailwind, Swords Dance, stuff like that. It can set up both Stealth Rocks and Spikes, so that's really, really cool. If I have an opponent that I feel like I can hazard stack, Skarmory can definitely do that job for me. It gets access to Roost for longevity purposes, which is really, really good. what other moves was I thinking of? Defog. Defog is a really, really good one. And the last one I'm really thinking about a lot is Counter. Counter is really, really cool because it is very, very physically bulky. And if I'm in a situation where I know something is going to hit me really hard on the physical side, I can just click Counter and, like, blow it away. Does this thing get Mirror Coat too? It doesn't get Mirror Coat. Okay. I wasn't sure if it got Mirror Coat, but it's still really cool. Overall, Skarmory provides a lot of options for the squad. I'm just really, really excited to get to use this thing for once. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool mon, and has just so much potential. Nickname-wise, this is one that is really, really difficult for me because I've never been since I've never been a fan of Skarmory, I don't really know what the hell to call this thing. I mean, I'm to be honest, as I'm rambling right now, I'm like fumbling for a nickname right now. Fumbling. Like this thing's like, it's really weird because like I've never really thought about Skarmory before, so it's usually something that kind of like falls under the wayside for me because it's just kind of there. Although there are a couple of options that I'm thinking about, and actually, what's that thing's name? What is that thing's name? Hold on, I need to look something up really quick on my phone. Here we go. I'm just making sure that I have it spelled right. I'm gonna make a classic video game reference. We got Meta Ridley, the Skarmory here. Meta Ridley is, for those of you who don't know, a metallic version of one of the main villains of the Metroid franchise. So definitely very, very fitting here. Meta Ridley is very similar looking to Skarmory, so I think that would kind of work. Now, for my tier 2, and I bounced around a lot of things because I was throwing a lot of ideas around, and honestly, a lot of things that I decided I wanted were already taken when I re-looked at the list, and I was like really, really bummed out by that, but I sat there for a really long time, really, really long time, and honestly just could not come up with anything for my tier 2 pick. And then I saw, again, another hidden gem that a lot of people honestly, and in my opinion, it's really, really slept on, but we scooped up Scolipede. Now, Scolipede will 100% of the time be running Speed Boost on my team, but this thing is crazy. First of all, look at this shit. Base 100 attack, base 89 defense, so it can take a hit, base 60 HP to back that up. Base 112 speed, so this thing breaks the base 110 speed tier on top of that, and all I gotta do is put off a simple protect, and I outspeed anything that's scarfed on my opponent's team in a lot of cases. So that's insane. That's actually kind of crazy, and makes me really, really excited to have this thing. I've seen some people put a lot of work in with Scolipede, and it's honestly due to that attack stat, plus its crazy move pool. Like, look at this stuff. We've got Aqua Tail. We've got Earthquake, Double Edge. We got Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Rock Slide, Superpower. So much going on here. This thing can do so much. Another cool thing this thing can do is it also provides us a Toxic Spike setter, which is really, really nice. So now, already so far on this team, we have Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes all available to us. Spoilers, we do not have access to Sticky Webs. It sucks, I know. I really kind of wish I had Sticky Webs, but I don't. And I'm kind of sad about it, but that's fine. That's totally fine. Honestly, at this point, I'm just happy that we have this bomb-ass mon. Plus, on top of this, if Scolipede reaches a situation where it's very threatened, we can baton pass whatever speed it builds up, and it's really, really crazy. Like it could save our asses in a matchup, and we can baton pass that speed to something that can A, take a hit from whatever's in front of us, and B, kill whatever's in front of us. And then we have whatever kind of insane threat that, would be threatening to Scolipede. That thing's gone and not a problem anymore. So baton pass allows Scolipede to do a lot of things for our squad, and allow us to outspeed pretty much any team we want to. Any mon on any team that we want to. And that's really cool. And it's actually a lot safer than a free switch because we don't get that speed. And we might not outspeed. We might just take the hit, but not outspeed it afterwards, which sucks. So definitely baton pass is probably going to end up being a staple on this thing's moveset in a lot of cases where I think we might need it more than likely. So Scolipede's going to put in crazy work for us this season. As for the nickname, I'm a horror movie guy. I like those horror movies. I like disgusting, gory things. I like all that kind of shit. I'm a fucked up dude, let's be honest. But one of my favorites is the human centipede. So I'm going to call this thing the human. So this is the human Scolipede. It works. It works. It's disturbing to think about, but it works 100%. So yeah, that's gonna be our Scolipede, my good buddy Scolipede. That's our tier 2 pick. On to tier 3. Now, my goal for this draft was to try and not use too many things that I've used before in the league format. Sometimes that's not going to happen. Sometimes it's not going to work out that way. I did still want to grab myself a Firewater Grass Core. I was looking through the grass types that are available, and there just wasn't anything left. Pretty much everything was gone. So when it came time to pick my tier 3, in my head, I'm like, do I really want to do it again? Do I really want to scoop this guy up again? And we did. So we do get Shaman, Hydrangea our Shaman. The name stays the same because this is our homie. Hydrangea has returned to us, my friends. Back again, once again. Base 100 everything, nothing too special to explain there, it's just too perfect. Base 100 everything is great because Shaman can honestly fit whatever role I want it to do that week. It could be bulky, it could be speedy, it could be offensive, defensive, whatever I want. It's got a really good moveset potential with things like Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam, Earth Power, Seed Flare, stuff like that for offensive coverage, as well as also having things like Leech Seed, Aromatherapy, Substitute, Tailwind, Toxic, stuff like that for support purposes as well. Overall, Shaman does a lot for our team. We saw that Shaman can apply a lot of offensive pressure to my opponent's teams in Fella when we had it. And definitely, hopefully, with a good enough opportunity, Hydrangea can do the same thing here as well. Nothing too much I need to say about Shaman that I haven't said before. This thing's just really, really good, and I'm really, really happy to have it again. Because if there's any mon around that I'd love to scoop up, always, it's gonna be Shaman. Now, next up, I did want to also want to complete our Fairy Dragon Steel core. We do already have the Fairy, we have the Steel. I wanted to get a Dragon type. I was looking through what was left, and again, slim pickings, honestly. And it's kind of what sucks about not being there during the draft, because I could have gotten something a lot better during the draft if I had actually been there. But again, not a big deal. What I did get is, in my opinion, one of the most terrifying physical wall breakers in the game of Pokemon. And like when I say like physical wall breaker, I mean this thing will tear through just about anything. And that is Haxorus. Ladies and gentlemen, Haxorus is in the building. Holy shit. Mold Breaker for days, first of all. This thing's going to carry Mold Breaker 9 times out of 10 will carry Mold Breaker. Almost guaranteeing carrying Mold Breaker. Because Mold Breaker EQ is too good. A lot of the Rotom forms did get scooped up. Rotom Fan didn't. But it means all the Rotom forms that got scooped up, I can click Earthquake in front of and not worry about it. Rotom Wash, take an Earthquake. Rotom Heat, die to an Earthquake. Goodbye. Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance to set up. Dragon Tail, why not? Brick Break, Aqua Tail. Return, we have access to things like Low Kick, Outrage, Poison Jab. Poison Jab, fuck those fairies, let me tell you. Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, Super Power, X Scissor. This thing hits so hard and in so many different ways. And if I can get in the right situation too, maybe with Scolipede combination, send him some speed and use Swords Dance instead, this thing will break through anything. Anything around, period. There's so many options this thing can do. I mean, base 147 attack? Are you kidding me? That's not right. That ain't right. That's crazy. Haxorus is going to blow through teams. Like it's his job. Look at this, maxing things out. Say he's adamant. Boom. It's 432 attack stat. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Overall, Haxorus is going to put in so much work, and the nickname for this thing is definitely a reference for me. I gotta call this thing Curtis Axel. I was gonna call it just straight up Curtis Axel. I'm gonna call it Curtis Haxel. I'm gonna call it Curtis Haxel because it is a Haxorus. But Curtis Axel is a professional wrestler and personally one of my favorites. I wish WWE would actually use him properly like they did when he first got there. I think that he would have been he had so much potential, and then they just kind of like squashed him because his mic skills are trash, and like sent him to become a jobber, and that's basically where he sits at now. But Curtis Haxel is a monster that has potential and will tear through teams if I give him the opportunity to. And that's pretty much what the goal is here with Haxorus. Next up, we had Tier 4, and at this point, obviously, you can see my team. I did have a Defogger, but I did kind of want a Rapid Spinner. I was also looking for a fighting type. I always like fighting types, so I was either going to get a Spinner or a fighting type in Tier 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I got both. We got Hitmontop. I don't know how the hell Hitmontop made it through the whole draft, but for God's sake, somebody decided that Hitmontop shouldn't be drafted. I don't know why. Whoever the hell was the guy who just looked at his draft and was like, I need a spinner. Let's not grab Hitmontop. Whoever decided that, you're stupid. Hitmontop provides a lot of options for our squad. Not only does it have a very, very good natural bulk with a base 95 defense and 110 special defense, coupled in some cases with the Intimidate, this thing has a very decent base 95 attack stat as well, so it can hit pretty hard. Another thing that I like a lot about this thing is it doesn't have to always have Intimidate. It can fit the wall roll of having Intimidate. It can fit being a wall and have that Intimidate and use it to its advantage, or it can carry Technician, which is just as good in my opinion, because if you back this thing with Technician and even potentially give it a Life Orb or something, this thing's gonna tear through teams. I've used Hitmontop once before, way back at the very beginning of my League Battle days. In I believe it was the MBC where I used this thing, and I had Technician Aerial Ace, and I one-shot something with it, and like my opponent was like, "Holy shit, that's insane!" This thing put in so much work against my opponent. They couldn't touch it. They couldn't get around it because Technician Hitmontop just did so much work to my opponent's team. So Technician Hitmontop might make an appearance or two here in the season. We're gonna try to get it in there, but I mean, it gets so many good Technician moves: Aerial Ace, Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Fake Out. Just so many amazing things. So many amazing things. So much priority too. Sucker Punch as well with priority. This thing's crazy priority filled. Also gets good moves like Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Technician boosted Rapid Spins, guys. Come on. Technician boosted Rapid Spins. Technician boosted Pursuit. Get out of here. High Jump Kick. Why not? Gyro Ball? Sure. Earthquake? Yeah, let's do Earthquake. Close Combat, it's such a good mon. Such a good mon offensively and defensively. It does both roles very nicely, and it provides us a Rapid Spinner for the squad as well. So if I don't want particularly to run Defog on Skarmory, for whatever reason, I have access to a Rapid Spinner who can take care of the hazard removal job just as well. So Hitmontop is here. As for the nickname, Hitmontop's nickname, that's a good question. It's a good question. Good question. I'm about to shop for a nickname right now. Best Hitmontop nicknames. Because honestly, though, I'm terrible at naming Pokemon that I don't normally use, and Hitmontop is one of them. I've never really used a Hitmontop. I haven't used it in so long. So, I apologize. Yeah, it's just a matter of... I have a little issues with it, but I don't want to go with the typical, dreidel or I don't want to go with Beyblade or that. So I do kind of want to call it something special, and I actually just found one that I really like. It's a band that I've actually listened to. It's actually a band that I listened to. I'm just gonna call this thing ZZ. Now the reason behind me wanting to just call it ZZ is for the band ZZ Top. ZZ Top is a really cool band. I don't really know what I would describe their music as. Like what kind of genre I would describe it as. It's kind of like a rockish tune to it, but they're also kind of like, they have like almost a countryish vibe, but not really country. So like, it's really hard to describe. But I think it's a very interesting nickname. ZZ's gonna put in some work for us. ZZ is our tier 4 pick. Now for tier 5, at this point, I was really struggling to find a good fire type among what was left. And I got to tier 5, and I saw something that has recently caused us some issues. In smaller ways, but still has caused us issues. And that mon is our Tier 5 Fire type, Rapidash. Now, before anyone says anything, I know it's Rapidash. Rapidash is not great, but Rapidash also isn't terrible. Rapidash has options as, it does have a base 80 special attack stat, so you can add some special attacks. Base 70 defense and base 80 special defense isn't terrible, so it does have some natural bulk to it with a base 65 HP to back it up. And then base 105 speed, breaking the base 100 speed tier. That's fantastic. On top of that, we have a base 65 HP, which is fun. Base 100 attack, it's going to hit really hard. The physical side. This thing has two good abilities to run for it, Flash Fire and Flame Body. Flash Fire is probably going to be more common if there's a fire type in my opponent's team that I want to counter. Rapidash can do that very nicely with the Flash Fire. Flame Body is really kind of nice because 30% chance to burn something on contact. That's always fun to have. As for move pool, I mean, this thing has a lot of decent things. Double Edge, Drill Run, Fire Blast, Flame Charge, Flare Blitz, Heat Wave, Low Kick, Mega Horn, Overheat, Poison Jab, Wild Charge, Will-O-Wisp. A lot of options that can make it either supportive or very, very offensive, and it could allow us to do a lot of fantastic things with Rapidash here in the future. It just has a lot of potential overall as a mon for our squad. Rapidash can do some really cool things for us. And I'm really kind of excited to see what I can make Rapidash do. I've seen what other people can do with it. Now it's my turn to give it a shot. As for its nickname, Rapidash is obviously a unicorn. Obviously a Pegasus type thing, but it doesn't have wings. But it's a unicorn. It's a unicorn, guys. Did I not just make a WWE reference a few minutes ago? Did I? I think I did. You know what? I'm going to make a new one. This thing's nickname will always be in all caps. And it will be New Day Rocks. New Day Rocks, the Rapidash. Ladies and gentlemen, leave me be. I like the New Day. I will always like the New Day. I need to put an exclamation point there. I will always like the New Day. I don't know what it is about them, but they are a very charismatic faction. They're a bunch of dudes. They're a bunch of black dudes who sound like they're preaching, and they're running around with freaking unicorn horns on top of their goddamn heads, and they're fucking hilarious. The New Day is priceless. They're an amazing faction, hilarious. They're amazing tag team. I can't get enough of the New Day. I just can't. They're too good. I can't get enough of it. Every time I see the New Day, I just want more New Day. So this thing's a unicorn. They're unicorns. We're going to go with it. New Day Rocks. The Rapidash is here, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. New Day Rocks. New Day Rocks. I'm gonna stop because it is 3:30 in the morning almost. Now, on to our free picks. As I said before, we have 440 points now due to our insane pick of Mega Diancie giving us 40 extra points. And now, I was just looking through the typings I didn't have. At this point, I didn't have Psychic type, Dark type, Ghost type, Electric type. I didn't have a Water type or a Ground type. And I also didn't have an Ice type or a Normal type. So I had pretty much half my typings covered and 4 mons to cover as many of the rest as I could. Right? Well, I really knew, I knew deep down I wanted a good Psychic type. I needed a good Psychic type. And I was looking through all of the options, and then something popped out that blew my mind. In my opinion, the greatest mon in the entire League format. For whatever reason, all 7 other people, I believe, no, 8 other people that drafted, because 2 of us missed it. Of 8 other people that drafted, 11 rounds of drafting, Mew did not get scooped up. Mew is the second of 3 mons that we have brought back to the squad, and I have no regrets, because Mew is everything. I'm not going to go through its move pool, because its move pool is basically whatever the fuck you want it to be. If it's a TM, it can learn it. If it's a move tutor, it can learn it. It also has the level up moves pool, but that's also entirely different story. Other than that, though, Mew is whatever you want it to be. Honestly. You can mold Mew into whatever you want it to be. And it's really crazy. Really, really crazy. Base 100 across the board, again, it can do whatever you want, which is fantastic. It's so bulky on its own. The potential is just endless. Mew's potential is endless, and I love it. As for the nickname, this thing is adorable. It's basically a little chibi Pokemon, and Chibi is pretty legit. Plus, I recently started playing Chibi Robo on my Dolphin emulator, and I don't know, Chibi just kind of fits. I don't know. I just wanted to name something Chibi, and nothing else in my draft really fits that. So, Chibi it is. The next mon that I drafted was my other Tier 1 free pick that I wanted to scoop up. And at this point, I didn't have an electric type, and that pissed me off, because I need fast electric type. Fast electric types are so good in this format. I already had U-turn potential in the form of Mew, and I believe Skarmory gets U-turn. I believe one other mon gets U-turn. I'm not sure. I don't think any other mons get U-turn, actually. But I already had U-turn potential. I needed a Volt Switcher. I needed something fast. I needed something that can hit hard. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted a special wall breaker in the form of my electric type. And lo and behold, I got it. The Volt Absorbing, Electric Flying, Thunderous Therian. Thorian has returned and has actual potential to do something this time, because the last time we had Thorian on the squad was PFCFL Season 2, but we didn't get him until way, way late in the season. Now, when we did get him, he put in insane amounts of work. Thorian absolutely decimated opposing teams. This thing just tore through my opponents like it was nothing. So why not get him again? Right? Right. Overall, this thing is insane. It breaks the base 100 speed barrier just barely, but it does it, which is perfect. It's all he needs to do. Base 70 and base 80 defenses aren't all that, but it's decent natural bulk in its own way, which is awesome. Base 105 attack and base 145 special attack, that's going to tear through anything that wants to try to switch into this thing. Give this thing a life orb, what switches in? Nothing. Nothing really switches in to Thunderous. With the right coverage, an entire team could be torn apart by Thunderous Therian, if it wanted to. Plus, the cool part about Thunderous is it gets access to both the U-turn and Volt Switch. So if I don't want to necessarily run Volt Switch on Thunderous, I can run Volt Switch on Mew if I wanted to, and run U-turn on Thunderous, and just be weird. And throw my opponent off big time. That would be kind of funny. Probably will never do that, but, you know, just saying, it's a potential option. Still, it's insane how amazing this thing is. Its move pool is beautiful. It has things like Dark Pulse and Crunch, so it's got dark coverage there. It's got Brick Break and Focus Blast. It's got nice fighting coverage, Discharge, Potential Paralysis, Flash Cannon, Fuck You Fairies, Grass Knot, Hidden Powers, obviously Knock Off, which is great. This thing can set up a Nasty Plot. Base 145 attack with a Nasty Plot. Please, please, please prevent this man from doing that. Please don't ever let me do this. If anyone in this league allows me to set up a Nasty Plot with Thunderous, if I get the opportunity to, you're damn right I'm going to do it. Just rest in peace, your asshole, because I'm going to tear a hole through it. I'm going to tear you a new asshole. Psychic, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, Superpower, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave. Why not? Toxic, U-Turn, Volt Switch. This thing is crazy, man. It's just crazy. So crazy. This thing's so good. So good. I love Thunderous Therian. It's easily my favorite of the trio, of the Genie trio. Honestly, Thunderous is so good. We are currently rocking out with Thunderous Incarnate in where are we rocking out with Thunderous Incarnate? I just totally blanked. In the PFL Minor League, that's where we're rocking out with it. We're rocking out with Thunderous Incarnate in the PFL Minor League, and it's putting in a lot of work for us so far. So Thunderous Therian's going to do just the same over here in the UPL. Now, we got 80 points left. That's 2 tier 5s for us. I still don't have a water type to fill my Fire Water Grass core, so I'm digging through tier 5. There's so many water types down there. But one of them stands out, and I still don't understand how this didn't make it. This didn't go in the regular draft. We got Quagsire. Guys, we got Quagsire. This thing gets Water Absorb. Let me switch into all your water type moves. Fuck ya. Oh, you want to set up on me? I got Unaware. You ain't setting up shit. This thing's bulky. Base 65 special defense ain't nothing to laugh at. Base 85 defense ain't nothing to laugh at. Backed by base 95 HP, this ain't nothing to laugh at. This thing can also pack both special and physical moves. Base 65 special attack and base 85 attack can hit kind of hard. It's pretty slow, but that's kind of the point, because he's just meant to be slow and bulky. Got access to things like Acid Spray, which Acid Spray is a great move, in my opinion. Lowering an opponent's special defense by 2. That's great. It forces switches. Does a lot of amazing things for our team. Quagsire can do so much with that as an option. It has only one weakness to grass with its water ground typing, which is even better because it allows it to switch in a lot nicer to a lot of different things. It gets Earth Power and Earthquake. It gets access to Scald, so it can get those Scald burns potentially. We get access to things like Ice Beam and Ice Punch. Power Up Punch is kind of funny. That could be an interesting thing that we could pull off. Gets access to Recover, so we can just sit there in front of things and just live. Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, kind of cool. Seismic Toss for constant damage. And Toxic for stalling purposes. This thing just has so many options. Honestly, Quagsire can do so much for us. Actually, it gets access to Counter. Does it get access to Mirror Coat? Do you get Mirror Coat? You don't. They get Counter. So that's cool, right? Yeah, Quagsire provides us a lot of different options. I really, really like Quagsire. I've never really get to use it in the league format, so it's kind of cool to have it. As for a nickname for Quagsire, well, if I'm being totally honest, this is another one I don't typically use a lot. But I feel like there's one that I really want to use. I feel like there's a nickname that I really, really, really want to use, and I just need to make sure that I'm accurate in my decision here. That like my decision on this nickname is valid. Uh, you know that nickname's not gonna work. That nickname's not gonna work, and that kind of sucks. Now I don't wanna call it Bill because like everybody calls it Bill. Everybody. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna be dumb. Herp derp. Herp derp. No, just derp. Just derp. Derp the Quagsire. Keep it simple, short, sweet, to the point. Herp derp the Quagsire. Her derp the Quagsire is gonna just sit there and be derpy, and no one's gonna be able to kill it. And he's gonna just laugh at people's faces and be like, "Ha ha ha, I'm a Quagsire. Fuck you." Basically, that's what he does. Like that's his goal in life. Is just to say "fuck you." Now, the last pick was kind of spur of the moment, and I just kind of threw it in there. It's probably the least likely to stay on our team, but looking over our squad, we only have, I mean, barring our, base 100s across the boards in Shaman and Mew, and our base 110 Hitmontop, we didn't have too much special bulk as opposed to our physical bulk. We didn't have. I wanted something that was a guaranteed 100%. I can switch this bitch into any special hit ever, and it can take it. I didn't have an ice type, and I wanted to kind of get an ice type and make it work. So I decided to go with Regice. Regice is very interesting to me because it has a special defense of 200. That's crazy. I've worked with a Mon already that has a defense stat of that high with Mega Aggron in the MPBA, and look at how well I made Mega Aggron work. I can work with Regice. Regice is a lot more difficult to work with, but I can work with Regice. It does have base 100 defense, which makes things a little easier because this thing can take hits on both spectrums if it wants to. So I'm really happy about that. Plus, base 100 special attack allows this thing to be very, very useful. It's clear body, which is very, very useful. It'll allow me to not get my stats dropped in any way, which is great. I like that. Move pool wise, this thing gets access to things like Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Earthquake, which I'm never going to use now that I think about it. I don't know why I mentioned it. Blizzard, Ancient Power, Hidden Power. We got that powerful Rock Polish for setup if I really wanted to. We got that Signal Beam for bug type coverage, because fuck it, why not? Toxic. This thing doesn't get Stealth Rock, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. Overall, Regice just provides me a lot of potential. A lot of potential. I've always wanted to use an ice type, a bulky ice type, and try to make it do things in the league format, and I've never been able to do that. Because I've never been able to draft a proper ice type. So, Regice is here. As for Regice's nickname, I'm not gonna name it Elsa. First of all, that's actually like thoroughly, thoroughly degrading towards Regice's power. This thing is literally a walking iceberg. For Christ's sakes, this thing deserves a little bit more powerful of a name. And that name is going to be Full Buster. Full Buster, to reference Fairy Tail, my favorite anime. Gray Full Buster is an ice wizard. He's a part of Fairy Tail. He's dope as shit. Regice is dope as shit. Simple, short, sweet, gets the job done. And that is going to conclude our draft for the UPL. This is insane. Just a quick recap. We have Graceffa, our Mega Diancie, Meta Ridley, the Skarmory, the Human Scolipede, Hydrangea, the Shaman, Curtis Haxel, the Haxorus, ZZ, the Hitmontop, New Day Rocks, the Rapidash, Chibi, the Mew, Thorian, the Thunderous Therian, Derp, the Quagsire, and Full Buster, our Regice. This squad should be able to take us all the way to the UPL Championship and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. This is insane. I'm so happy about this squad, even though I really hope that this team can work with us. I think we can do a lot of fun things with this team, and I think we have potential to do well in this league. Our week 1 opponent is the other person who hasn't drafted yet. He said he might actually end up forfeiting to us. So I don't know what's going to go down about that, but I will keep you guys posted. If a battle happens, you'll see it 100%. It is this league is 100% on Showdown, so you guys will see 100% everything that goes down. Yeah, so this is going to be the squad. I'm really, really excited. And we are keeping the Hazleton Hoopas name. Just so you guys know, we are keeping the Hazleton Hoopas name. So it's really cool. Yeah, but I'm really excited. So if you guys are excited for this new league, the UPL, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.